Hello everyone and welcome to PAXP, another fun episode. I'm your host Roman Tolsik and with me I got Victor and John is missing. This is of course a podcast for video game talk and all kinds of gibberish. On the subject of John, we have a little bit of news, surprisingly enough. So apparently a news website in Arlington caught footage of a man trying to break into an animal shelter. Victor, have you seen this?
Wait. So are you trying... I haven't, but are you trying to insinuate that John is committing crime somewhere?
Check this out. This is freaking crazy. So I know it sounds ridiculous and it doesn't sound like anything like the soft-spoken or non-spoken at all John that we know and love. But check this out. Let me pull this up for you. Okay, and here we have. So check this out. This is a video recording, and here's you see some screenshots. And
Holy
you
shit.
tell me that face is not John.
That fucking look. Should we be saying this on the air?
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll
that
have to
looks
find
like
him.
John though.
Okay, obviously John can't hear us, right? Because I think he's gone feral. Maybe at this point.
Rogue.
Yeah, he's got a rogue something.
Mad.
But why would he break into an animal shelter?
And it's in Arlington?
And yeah, the funny thing is
fuck?
He didn't succeed, right? No animals were harmed. No animals escaped. John got away though before anybody else could get to him. So John's on the loose. And I mean, at this point, like, he can't hear us, right? Because he's fully homeless.
John needs to get this message somehow, man.
Do you think he even knows how to come back to us?
I think he might be lost in the head. If this is true, and that very well looks like the case from this blurry CCTV image that we have of some apparent man breaking into a animal shelter.
That looks sort of like John.
Oh my god! I hope it wasn't anything sexual.
Oh my god, John! It's a big, empty, scary world out there. Please just come back to us and be safe.
Please.
And speaking of big, scary worlds, how about open world games?
Oh yeah, I love open world games.
Yeah, me too.
They're becoming more popular.
Huge fan.
I think they're becoming more popular, or more frequent.
Yeah, I would totally and wholly agree with that. And so, as far as open world games go, I guess over the past week we kind of took a deep dive into different types of games, into games specifically that started off as linear. Their franchises already established and went open world, right? Mm-hmm. So before we even jump into that though, let me ask you this. Do you think that open world games in general, just as a rule, are better than linear games?
Oh my god. That's an impossible question to answer. Like for me, I would have to say possibly yes.
In general. So any game would be better as open world game if it was done right.
If it was done correctly, yes. Because open world just is like opens the possibilities of just the immersiveness of it.
Victor, I knew you would say that, and here's why you're wrong.
God damn it!
So let me break that to you. I thought about this. I was running earlier today, and this is what popped into my head. So here's what I was thinking about. What if they took and made The Last of Us 2 open world? Now this game, as it stands now, is a walking simulator where you walk 10 feet and it feels like you've been walking for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think that
open world.
I don't think that game would do well open world.
But what did you say?
I know,
you said any game.
Before I said that, I said that's an impossible question to answer.
Which you answered anyway.
Yeah, no, that game is heavily story driven, and there's a purpose to that story, and you're not supposed to deviate from it. And
that can't be why though, because Witcher 3.
But
Witcher 3 exists.
But see, oh my
story driven,
I'm
such one of the best
myself.
stories ever. I know, it's impossible. Here's where you're right. You were right where it's impossible to answer, because no matter how many ways I looked at this, there was no way to answer this question. It's just impossible.
Yeah, because Witcher 2 I couldn't get into because it was so linear. Witcher 3,
which was like hub-based, right? Because it wasn't like totally linear, but it was like hubs.
Well, it was hubs, but even the path you took was linear. Like you couldn't go off course. You were on a trail between trees and such.
Were you?
from what I remember, because I played about a couple of hours of it. Maybe I didn't play.
You played a couple hours of like 100-hour RPG. Like I got a judgment on this game now.
I thought Witcher 2 wasn't that long, right? Because it wasn't open world, so yeah.
I will say this: Witcher 2. I remember having one of the most challenging and rewarding boss fights I've ever had in a video game. Where, so you're a Witcher, right? Obviously, as the name implies.
Yeah.
In that game, I think about maybe 3/4 of the way through, you got to fight another Witcher. And that was just a devastating battle. I remember it took me days to beat it.
Damn.
Yeah, it was insane. But it was so good.
Maybe I should revisit that game.
You should do it. You know what you should revisit is Witcher 3. I know we talked about this game so many times, but I gotta tell you. So, do we have time for me to cover just one mission from one of the expansions?
Okay, sure. Oh yeah, because you just got the expansion.
Yeah, so I just got the expansion. So check this out.
What DLC is this one?
So this one, I got both of them. I got Blood and Wine and Heart of Stone. This is from Heart of Stone, the first one, the smaller one.
Okay.
And so this is why this game is so insane. Its first mission has the complex story to fill an entire video game in anywhere else. Check this out. This is what happens. So you got Geralt, right, which is the Witcher.
Yeah.
There's 3 characters. You have let's call him I can't call him John. Let's call him Bill, another guy who is like, man, I can't even get into this, Victor. I'm sorry to all the fans. I can't get into this for 2 reasons. 1, because it'd be a spoiler, and 2, because it would probably take me 30 minutes to explain.
Yeah.
And that's just the first mission.
Well, that's just how deep that game is.
Yeah. Just here's a really quick synopsis. In this one first mission, you get an objective, you meet a friend, you meet a foe, you become betrayed, you run into an old acquaintance, you become re-betrayed, you then start working for the person who betrayed you.
Oh my god.
And that's all in one mission.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's the complexity of that game is insane.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, moving into Witcher, because we talked about it so many times. So, in general, every game, we can't really tell if it's going to be better or worse, right? There's always exceptions to every rule. So, I think we both kind of put together lists of different games that went from linear to multiplayer to open world, right?
I didn't, but maybe you did.
Okay, so here's a near complete list of recent games that went from linear to open world. And by linear, I don't necessarily mean completely like Call of Duty corridor shooters. It can be like game hubs and still to open world even further, right? So the first one is Ghost Recon. That game was always like little like small, almost like hub, like very small hubs where you engage an enemy, move on to the next hub, and so forth. Then The Witcher. Right, another one.
Yeah,
Forza, which is track based until Horizon came out, the Horizon series. Batman.
Wait, what was Batman?
Batman: Arkham Asylum started off as very like it's linear. Right? You just walk around from corridor to corridor.
Yeah,
and it became open world. Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, that was definitely straight from. That's a true definition of linear to open world. Absolutely. Right there.
Homefront Revolution.
What? Wait.
So this is not a very popular series.
Yeah. The game didn't fare well. Yeah,
it's a series where North Korea took over America. In the first one, it's gonna I think it's hub based too. Second one becomes totally open world. And then I had one more game on here that I can't remember. I had it in the back of my head somewhere, but oh well. Regardless. So out of all these games, Ghost Recon, Witcher, Forza, Batman, Metal Gear Solid, Homefront, and Final Fantasy, out of those, I kind of just very quickly thought about the pros and cons and if they were the same, better for being open world, or worse. And here's what I came up with. Ghost Recon, I thought, have you played the originals?
I played several of them, yeah.
Okay, did you play the very first one?
What was it called? Just Ghost Recon?
It was just called Ghost Recon.
That was for the original Xbox, right?
That was not. That was Ghost Recon 2, I think.
Oh, okay.
The original Ghost Recon was PC only, and that was hub-based. But what was cool was that each hub was a unique location, and you had a few mission objectives in each hub that you had to complete, and you complete them anyway. And then you move on to the next hub. And it was really cool because it gave you so much variety, and each level felt very different.
Yeah.
Like, there was one level that was just like you're in this Russian forest, and you gotta kill a few Russians. And there's another level where you're in the city, Like, so it was like totally different, and so forth, right? I thought that became worse with Ghost Recon, Wildlands. Yeah,
Really?
As far as fun as Wildlands is, I don't think, man, I think we would have had more fun playing Ghost Recon in that hub based where you jump from level to level.
I think it was just because it was too big for the kind of gameplay it was. Like it was very minimal gameplay and mission type. That, I mean, that game could have been the quarter of the size and it would have been
better.
Still, it would have been better
if they put in the same amount of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been so much better if they just reduced the amount of work you had to put in, because it was all the same thing. And that's why that's why I think that game failed in open world.
Yeah,
because it was too big. Games, it was just too vast.
Yes, and it was nothing feels like you're really accomplishing anything. They're like, steal this helicopter, bring you back to Rebels for the 17th time.
Yeah.
Well, the first 16 times didn't do anything except for maybe made your cooldown speed of an ability faster. Right? That's it.
I can use my my call for Rebels faster.
Yeah, which you never even use.
And they suck because they always gave your cover away.
That's true. Yeah. That.
They'd come in guns blazing.
The next one is Witcher, which I think definitely became better.
Oh, that game became 100 times better.
And I would say Witcher is probably the best open world game that again, my personal opinion, best open world game of all time.
I would agree.
It's so good.
I would
and
agree.
It's because one, it's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
But every piece of it has so much detail in it that you want to explore further.
Not just that, it's every area is just different in its unique own way. And the story that goes along with it and the depth
so
to
good.
it just keeps you going.
Like again, like this first mission I talked about.
Yeah.
Like that entire mission
That's
could be
crazy.
the whole story of a game, and that's just the first quest.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's insane.
Another one, like I ran into right after finishing that quest, I happened to end up on midway through it. I happened to end up on a beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in the middle of this quest, and I'm trying to find my way back, and I see this house, and I could have just walked right past it and not bothered, right? But I see these little monsters by it, so I'm like, I might as well just kill them. So I kill the monsters, and at this point, since I'm so close to the house, I'm like, I might as well go in the house. I go in the house, there's a dead body ripped up inside. And I'm like, that's weird. So I search the body. On there's a note. And the note is from somebody else to this person that's dead, saying that their group of bandits, the ones that weren't there, are running late or something. And he's gonna have to just like hang tight with the prisoner that they locked in the cellar. Yeah. I'm like, the prisoner in the cellar, and I look at the cellar is locked with some junk on top of it. Yeah. I use one of my powers to blow that junk off, open the cellar door, and climb downstairs. Right? And I walk down, I see this other dead body of this guy who I search, and I find this note that says basically like that there's this key in his asshole.
Ew,
I'm not even kidding.
What the?
There's a key in his ass that you have to pull, you get, right? And directions to a treasure.
Yeah.
That he was hiding from these bandits that were keeping him hostage.
What the fuck?
And this is just like not even a quest, nothing. It's just a random house I walked into. So I go to this, where this treasure is, I dive underwater because it's in the water, and I find this sunken boat with a treasure chest that I can unlock with this key.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. That game is...
Yeah, and that's not even a quest. In any other game, that would be like a main story quest or something, right?
You just stumbled across something.
Yeah, some random house.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? So anyway, Ghost Recon has none of that.
Yeah, Ghost Recon has nothing.
Not even close. So Witcher definitely became better. Ghost Recon's worse. Witcher, in my opinion. What do you think? So for playing the old Ghost Recon games, do you think Ghost Recon became better or worse with open world?
I would say it'd have to... It feels the same almost.
Let me rephrase. Not taking into account the new gameplay mechanics or that's really it. Not taking into account the game, because the gameplay is better.
Yeah. I would have to say the old Ghost Recons were better.
Right, because they're just more fun.
Yeah, and they gave you had a little bit more purpose to what you were doing. Yeah, like you felt the progression of going forward. In Ghost Recon Wildlands,
there's nothing.
You just feel like you're lost and you're just jumping from area to area, just doing mundane things, and it's like for nothing really.
Yeah, you have no effect on the world at all.
Yeah.
So the next one I have, Forza, as it jumped from motorsport into Horizon. I rated that as equal. I don't think Horizon does anything better or worse than Forza Motorsport. I think they're different enough to where they both can coexist very happily together. I think they're both really fun, but they're just different enough, and there's not really much added or lost in.
I mean, the only difference I would imagine there is like the scenery of the track, right? Obviously, that's the only thing that changes.
Yeah, because each track is different, right? Whereas Horizon, Horizon changes too. Yeah, I don't know. That one's tough. It's tough because, like, on the one hand, I don't really like having to drive to races. I think it's kind of boring, right? To drive to, but on the other hand, it's also like if it's a really pretty place, like the last one, not this past one, the one before that was set in Italy. Like everything you saw was really freaking beautiful. So you're like, okay, like this is really nice to drive on this Italian beach or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one's hard. On Batman, and I bet you're gonna disagree with me on this, but I think Batman was better linear.
I really love
the first one.
I really loved the Batman Arkham Origins.
Which one is that?
Was that the last one? The last one. I can't
third
remember.
one? That's the third one?
No.
Because there was Arkham City was part 2, right? Part 1 was just Arkham Asylum.
What's the last one? I can't fucking remember.
No, Origins was the one that was made by somebody else, like a different developing group. That's kind of almost like an expansion pack. Even though
Batman Arkham Knight was the last one. Yeah.
The third one, whatever the third one. You could just call it Batman 3.
Yeah, and that I loved that one. I liked all of them, I think. I don't know what it was. They all kind of offered something different. But the last one I really especially liked because I just loved the mechanics that you can use to explore the city, the gliding, and just Gotham City, just how gothic and like mid-century, like I don't know. It was just a very cool atmosphere. And it was like during it was always nighttime. So yeah, just the atmosphere and the lighting was really good in that game, open world, and I loved it. And the Batmobile. The Batmobile was amazing. How you can like just strafe the streets and shoot all the enemies that were coming at you. It was fucking good. I would suggest you play it, but you don't like comic games.
I did play it.
Oh, did you?
I did. I played. Here's the thing. I played and beat and loved Arkham Asylum. Loved that game. I thought it was so well done. It was really concentrated. Every aspect of the story was great. Every aspect of the exploration, the detective work, the fighting, everything was top notch. Part 2, I was bored out of my mind, but I pushed through it and I beat it. And I thought I would love that game, but I didn't. And I think it's because it's kind of like Ghost Recon. No, it wasn't like Ghost. I don't even know. I couldn't explain why, but I did not like Part 2. Mm-hmm. Part 3, I maybe put in 3 or 4 hours into it only. Not much at all. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like any of it. I didn't like the Batmobile. I didn't like the exploration. I didn't like nothing. And maybe by that time I was just bored of Batman games. I don't know what it was. I can't quite put my finger on it. Even thinking back to it, I just can't put my finger on it. But I did not like it.
I loved, and I especially loved the Riddler
quest.
Tasks that you were supposed to. Well, I guess they were quests. The riddles you were supposed to solve throughout the city. I mean, I thought they were just so clever and just.
It got amazing reviews. I got stellar reviews.
It was an amazing game.
The graphics were beautiful too, but for some reason I just couldn't get back into it.
Maybe what happened to me, like in Fallout. I mean, not Fallout. Far Cry. I played so much Far Cry 3 that I couldn't like Far Cry 4. Maybe you just played so much Batman that you were just like...
Yeah, I love Batman. I loved it. And I'm a huge Batman fan in general, so this game should have been right up my alley. But anyway, so would you rate it better or worse, open world?
I would say better.
Better, okay. I would say worse, but
to
each his own. So, next one.
It was just so much to do, and then you had to the villains that you had to chase. Like there was, I can't remember one of the villains, but he like would send out his patrols throughout the city, and you would have to basically like guard stations or whatever and you would have to
like Far Cry, like that kind of
exactly. And it was just you just had to approach it in a unique way. You just couldn't just run and gun it because they were either up on a platform, so you would have to glide in from a certain direction, or they had barricades around them, so you would have to use your Batmobile to like access it by ramping over it. It was just so clever on how you can approach each one, and that's what I liked about it because there was a tactfulness to it. It just made it very entertaining, and it just wasn't boring. Like you were doing it over and over again. But that's why I liked it.
That's one thing I like about Ghost Recon still is that you get to choose how you approach each situation.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, like, one false move and it all goes wrong, and it seems to go wrong all
Every
the
time.
So it's like
Every time. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Homefront Revolution, we'll skip that because neither one of us have played the last one.
Yeah, I didn't bother.
What about Final Fantasy? Did you play the last one?
15? No. I want to
Me
play it.
We're going to skip that one too.
Yeah.
So, the last one we'll do then, we'll actually officially do.
But I mean, did Final Fantasy 15 do
Yeah,
great?
We got really good reviews.
Yeah.
Got really good reviews. Homefront Revolution got okay reviews at best, so it wasn't that great. It got worse reviews in the first one. I remember the other one. The other one was Mirror's Edge. It started off as kind of hub based, and it was a phenomenal game. Like it was like Mario for adults. It was platforming in first person. It was really cool. Mirror's Edge 2 came out. I never played it. It got really bad reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
But part 1 got good reviews?
But part 1 got really good reviews. And part 2 became open world, and maybe that's why. Maybe it lost some of its charm, some of its concentration.
So when you're playing Mirror's Edge, part 1, it's linear, and you're guided on what platforms to jump from and stuff like that.
So yeah, what they do is they use a lot of primary colors in that game in general. That's their art style.
Yeah.
And red signifies where you kind of have to go next. It guides you using the color red.
Yeah. So do you think when they made it open world, do they use that same principle of using the red, but then now that it's open world, it's like red is everywhere, so you really don't know which path to take, whereas the linear world, it was, oh, here's the path I could take. It's just as fun. I don't care if they're taking me on it, but it's fun to go that way.
No.
No?
No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, because maybe I
never played part 2, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
But that would make sense. It would totally make sense. Yeah. I just wanted to say no. So the last game we're going to talk about, the very last game of these open worlds that I at least had on my list, is Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that became better or worse with open world?
I'm torn. And before I played the game, in my mind, I thought it was going to be better. Now that I've played the game, I think it's worse.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Like, 1, it was too long. And 2, they just didn't approach it the right way. I don't think they really... Yeah, there wasn't much exploration involved. And there was very little, like, areas of operations, I guess you can call them. And it was very repetitive. And it just got boring after a while.
Yeah, and again, like same thing as Ghost Recon. It doesn't feel like you're actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the last mission I played, I remember I was in these, I think, South African mines where there were some South African children, and Snake chose to save them.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about that. I'm like, okay, so whatever. He saved some kids, but
that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse is the story is so blasé. You're like, you're just like, there's nothing holding you there to continue it, and that's what I think ruined it. I think it could have been great, but they just, and of course there was some inner turmoil in the studio during that time.
Man,
that could have affected what Hideo Kojima really wanted to portray in that game.
They gave him such a massive budget, though. I don't understand how. I just don't get.
Well, maybe it was too massive. Maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, like that's it. Another thing is, why did he? Snake talks very little, very very little, right? He has, I mean, like maybe an hour worth of dialogue in a 100-hour game.
Yeah,
maybe an hour, like probably less than an hour.
Yeah. Like he could probably fit his whole script on one page.
Yeah. Why would they waste the money to hire Kiefer Sutherland instead of keeping the same Snake whose voice I like better?
Dude,
I would better.
What's his name? Dave something. Man, dude, I fucking love that guy just because of his voice.
His voice is so perfect.
They should have kept him.
Who you know is Snake.
Yeah, that. When I found out it was Kiefer Sutherland, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, but I still would have preferred that guy.
And you know how it happened? This is crazy. So David, he calls them up and he's like, hey, so we're doing this new Metal Gear. When do you guys want me to come in? He's all excited, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you know what, David? We don't. And that's how it happened. Like they didn't even tell him. He had to call in and they blew him off. They're like, we're not interested.
I don't understand why,
so
dude. He was like
so
one
good.
of the most memorable voice actors in video gaming that I will ever know.
Other than Mario. Just kidding. He never even talks.
But all he says is fucking Mario. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, get the fuck out. Yeah, he's like one of the most memorable voice actors of any. Yeah, it was a disappointment.
Yeah, he's so good. He was so good. But and just had to get rid of him. Anyway, do you have anything else you want to add on this subject? Because I really want to talk about John Moore. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I think, but I do think, open world games are becoming a little bit more frequent because that's what gamers kind of want.
And also because it's getting easier to develop them. Back then, there were so many technical challenges, right? To where
the budget was one of them.
Budget was one, and there was also like our hardware couldn't really handle much.
Yeah. You can't now. Now that you have this powerful hardware, you got draw scales, you got distance, you can have all the effects of everything there on screen processing that we couldn't do a long time ago. So I think they're becoming more popular and more frequent for sure. And I think when they're done well, they can be a very very amazing game.
They can draw you in like nothing else. Like I would say, there's never been Battlefield's a bad example because Battlefield is almost like hub-based multiplayer. But anyway, moving on.
So you would say linear games and open world games are just evenly matched for you? It doesn't matter. Each one offers its own that you.
No. I would say, open world games are overall better for me, and it's because I feel again when they're done well, right? Like Skyrim, like Witcher 3, to a lesser extent even Forza Horizon, where I feel connected to that world, where I feel like I can impact, and maybe Horizon is not the best example of this, but I feel like I can make an impact in that world. That's when I really like open world games, because at the end of the day, and this is maybe something I shouldn't even mention because it makes me sound really dorky, but when I go to sleep at night, I like to think about video games, right? And I'm not even kidding. And I never ever think about these linear games. I don't think about Halo. I don't think about Gears of War. I don't think about Call of Duty. I don't think about Wolfenstein. I don't think about any of those kind of games that are linear. I think about the open world games because I have a connection to that character to where I actually feel like I am in control of him. And so I am thinking about, what am I going to do next with him? Like with Geralt. Yeah. What am I going to do next? In Skyrim, I remember I felt really connected to the Dark Brotherhood. The assassins. Right? And I'm like, I wonder how I'm going to assassinate this guy. I wonder what my next assassination is going to be, right? Like, it was so cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Like, I looked up how to join the Dark Brotherhood on
Same here.
The internet because I couldn't figure it out.
That was the best.
So I was like, how the fuck? And as soon as I was able to join, I was like, yes. And I like fucking did all those missions like back to back. It was so much fun.
They're better than the main quests.
Yeah, dude. It was so, and just the appeal of them was so intriguing. Like the Dark Brotherhood, you gotta. I think if I remember correctly, you had to kill somebody in their sleep, was it, or something?
You had to kill one person. Period. Yeah. To join, and then
like an innocent.
When you're sleeping,
they would come to you.
They would approach you.
Yeah, that guy in the dark hood. Yeah. It was
the dark hood. In the dark hood, yo.
Dark hood, brotherhood. Yeah, dude, that game was so. Yeah, I love that one.
Oh yeah, God, that was so good. That was really well done. Man, I missed that game. I can't wait till the next Skyrim. So next Elder Scroll comes out. Oh, that reminds me. So here's one initiative we're taking. Anybody listening, anybody wants to play with us, we just got Morrowind online. We will start playing, and we are gonna pick a day. What day should we pick to play online together? And that's the day that anybody can join us, and we'll all play together. We could chat. We can become friends. We can go to your brother's wedding.
Yeah.
What day?
Well, I would say maybe a weekend. That's probably the most available day for people. Weekend. Saturday, Sunday.
I was thinking more like Wednesday.
A Wednesday?
Let's just do a crazy day. Let's do
Wednesday night. Hump day. Let's do it on Hump day.
Yeah, Hump day. Wednesday night.
Right.
Anybody wants to join us? So you have to be an Xbox. You have to have Morrowind. My Xbox ID is R Tolstyk. So it's my first initial and my last name. TOLSTYKH. And what's yours?
I have no idea.
Red Cell Spy.
Yeah, Red Cell Spy. One word.
Red Cell
Spy. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Red Cell Spy.
All right. So anybody wants to join us? We'll be playing Wednesday night. Not an exact time because Victor is Hispanic and he always runs late.
That's fucked up. I run on Mexican time.
Anyway. And with that, let's move on to the next subject. So for the next thing, we're going to talk about PR. Game PR.
Oh, we are going to do this one?
We are. You know, like, I mean, there's funny commercials out there. Like you see Old Spice and they have Terry. What's his name?
Terry Crews?
Terry Crews. Oh, it's not plugged in. Just kidding. Gotcha. Okay, moving on. That was a mic joke. Because we're really bad about plugging the mic in. You guys don't know how many times we have to start a show over because we forgot to plug the mic in. Anyway.
Well, now they have an idea. We only have 5 episodes, so take a wild guess.
Yep. So, anyway, game PR. Victor, how about you start us off? Because I feel like you're very passionate about this subject.
Even though it's your topic. No, I thought it was a fun topic to look up because I got to see a whole bunch of like wacky things that game companies tried to do just to market their game, and some of them were kind of silly. Some of them were kind of unique.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do top 3 PR stunts that we each have,
and the worst 3.
And the worst? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
What are some things you like?
Well, we'll trade off. I'll say one. You say one.
Okay.
So
how about that?
So I'm gonna go one with the worst 3, and one of them would have to be the Dead Space 2 campaign.
What was that one?
I think I saw that one. It was an ad campaign where they would sit down. So you know how like some people they would do those shocking videos where they'd sit somebody down and have them watch a video and see something shocking and see their reaction.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was like this, where they would sit a parent down, and they would show them a parent down in front of some kid's, console while the game is going, and they would show the parent one of the goriest scenes in Dead Space 2.
Uh-huh.
And these different parents would have like these horrible reactions, like, "Oh my God, this game! What? Like, why is this my son? The kind of reaction any parent would have, like, why is my son playing this gory game? Because it was a mature rated game."
So kids shouldn't be playing to begin with.
Exactly. But this ad is specifically geared towards teenagers and younger boys. So it's like, why would they develop this ad when it contradicts the rating of it, mature, and then expose it to parents when most parents don't want their kids to play? You know what I'm saying?
They thought that the kids would see it and be like, "Oh,
yeah.
It's so cool."
So
kids hate it.
I bet you they wanted like the shock value out of it,
lame.
but it kind of just so backfired. Lame. Yeah. So I thought that was a stupid PR stunt, but I guess it got people talking about it.
Okay, so if I was gonna go with the bad one, then for mine, I would pick the launch of God of War. I think 2. You see that one?
Was that the one? If I remember correctly, they had like a pig.
So I think it's a goat.
A goat or some kind of animal that
they rented out some space and
this was in Greece.
In Greece,
I remember it. Yeah,
and they invited all the top journalists to this huge lunch party where they dressed up the hosts and the servants in loincloths. So like half naked dudes.
Oh,
who are totally unattractive.
The girls like just had their hoo-has painted and shit. I was like, what the fuck?
And they brought in this decapitated goat. Filled it with fake intestines and gooey shit, and then tried to get the news journalist, to reach inside the goat and pull stuff out to eat.
That's got to be like the worst PR
Who
stuff.
would think that that's awesome?
Well, that would only happen in Europe anyway, to begin with.
Except by Japanese people. In Europe, by Japanese people.
Oh yeah, what the fuck?
Right, so Japan is like known for like being the capital of the weird shit. And it happens anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, what's another bad one for you? Actually, no, let's do a good one. Do a good one this time.
Oh, okay. A good one. So, a good one?
That you liked, at least.
Oh, my God. And you probably know this one, and I have to say this one, but it's the PR by Halo, or by the Halo 5 Guardians campaign, Hunt the Truth.
Oh, my God, that was so good.
That audio that came out. It was a two-season series of, like, these audio log files, but they were formatted kind of in this story mode, and the voice acting was incredible. The dialogue was incredible. I mean, you can just they at the end of the series they would just condense it into one file, so you could listen to it repeatedly. So it was about 3.5 hours long, I think, each one, and there's 2 of them. But it just takes you into this world that you're listening to, and I listen to it on SoundCloud. So, and that's where we're at as well. But it's just such a good PR from them. Like
that was probably the best PR you can imagine. Yeah. Any game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if another.
Oh, and not only that, but the teaser to that PR, like when they announced that they would be releasing this, they loaded an image that said traitor like embedded in the bullet.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then it basically shot into Master Chief's skull or helmet, and it just shattered. And then once the video was released, you can drag the file back and forth, and so you could see these different names on the bullet, where it, not just traitor, but like warrior, hero, savior, and that alone was like, it just left you anticipating something in the story. Like, what is Halo 5 going to bring you story wise?
Which
like the demise of Master Chief was just like so embedded in that little bit.
And it's crazy how for a game that had such amazing PR, how its story turned out so one dimensional.
It kind of did.
Yeah, because like the story didn't match the PR at all.
Yeah.
Man, I wish they did some more.
Well, see, the thing with the story for that one, like, you think it was going to be about Master Chief, but for me, it felt like it was more about Cortana.
It was. It absolutely was.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole story was about Cortana.
I felt like it...
Just like in Part 4 was like that too. It played on that as well. But Part 4 was about losing someone you love, like, which is Cortana in his case.
Yeah.
Part 5 was about gaining her back, but what if she's a totally different person than where she started and how you remember her? At least that's how I see it. So Part 6 would be... I have no idea.
Who knows?
I have no idea.
We hear they might potentially tease something soon for Halo 6.
I hope so.
I don't know.
I mean, it's time, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely time.
So what's one of your best 3?
So one of my best 3, I would say, is this. It's Saints Row. And Saints Row 4. They did a special $1 million special edition game. And that was their PR stunt, was that they had this big $1 million. It actually cost $1 million
to produce?
To get the special edition game.
Oh,
so somebody,
you mean for sale?
Yeah, so when you go in and you want a special edition game, it costs you like $90. It costs you maybe $120, whatever the special edition happens to be.
Yeah.
In this case, it was $1 million.
And what the hell did you get with this $1 million?
This is what it included.
My God.
It was called the Commander-in-Chief version, I believe. And it included plastic surgery. I'm not even kidding. It included plastic surgery.
What the hell?
And you get to choose what plastic surgery you want. It included a shopping spree with a personal shopper, 2 nights in the Jefferson Hotel in Washington, a hostage rescue experience, a brand new Toyota Prius, and 7 nights stay at Top Royal Suite in Burj Al Arab and a flight for 2.
Wow.
How I have for the crazy... Like, imagine
for $1 million.
For $1 million.
That's totally worth it.
Is it? I have no idea. I have no idea how much a plastic surgery costs or how good a plastic surgery would be, but man, that's crazy, right? Like,
that is crazy.
For a special edition game.
Wow. Do you get like a steelbook with that?
It's a digital download.
What the hell? That's a ripoff.
But it's crazy. I mean, that must really get people talking, right? Okay, so one of your bad ones. One of your bad ones. It's a bad one that you thought was stupid, at least, or funny, or whatever.
One of the bad ones, and you'll probably highly disagree with me, but was the Xbox One announcement, which was a couple months before the E3 event, where Xbox just did their own thing, and they were going to announce the Xbox One, the new system coming out. But what a lot of people didn't like about it is how that whole announcement, that whole event, was nothing about really gaming and what the console can really perform, but it was rather more of an announcement that a lot of people kind of had a lot of strife with, where they announced, the always stay on function, like the always stay online function, and how people didn't like. Yeah, and how they're emphasizing on like social media and streaming, as well as
they had an emphasis on social media.
Yeah, they highly focused on media. And the always online status, the streaming, the social media, right? And people were just upset because they made this, reveal, and it was nothing about gaming, and it's a gaming console.
Man, I remember that.
So I think that pre-release before E3 was a total letdown, and they could have done without it.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of boring, Victor, but yeah.
Well, of course, because you love the X, you're like, whatever.
No, so you know what my bad one is?
What?
Splinter Cell Conviction.
Oh, I heard
You know what
about that.
happened?
Yeah. This is so stupid, dude. Like, I would think it's so
bad. So imagine this. Imagine this.
Oh, my
You
God.
are a PR company, and you want to get the word. You're hired to get the word out about a video game called Splinter Cell. What do? Do you hire a guy to walk into bars covered in bandages and point gun at random people sitting in the bar who are drunk? And I'm not even going to do B or C because that was what happened. And that's how ridiculous that is. Like, who would think that this is a good idea?
Yeah, they literally hired like a stunt actor to just like go into this bar and act like this deranged, injured person with a gun. And the gun looked so real that, apparently when the police first got there, they couldn't really tell if the gun was real or fake. So they had to like really examine.
Ridiculous.
Like what the and what was the purpose? Like was this bar popular or where was it? Like I don't know the full details.
Yeah, I forget what it was. I forget. I know it was in Europe, and I know it was in a country that
fucking Europeans.
They didn't allow to carry guns, right? Yeah. Imagine if they did it in Texas. Like I would be shot on the spot.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're not supposed to have a gun inside an establishment that has alcohol, but you never know. You never know.
In Texas, dude. In Texas, come on. Everybody's got a rifle on them.
On them, really? I don't ever.
At all times.
In their pants, because I don't ever see it. What's happening in their pocket, right?
Okay, so that's bad. Two bad ones. What's another good one you have?
Another good one, and this isn't really my style, but I thought what was funny was when they did the Madden 15 PR, which was the Madden season music video with Kevin Hart and Dave Franco.
I don't think I've seen that one.
So like it's
Who's
kind
Dave
of
Franco?
Dave Franco is the brother of the older Franco. He did that fucking movie where they killed the fucking North Korean dictator. James Franco. James Franco?
Yeah.
Well, his younger brother, Dave Franco. So it's a music video where Kevin Hart like just comes up to this guy's house. He answers the door. He slaps the shit out of him. He's like, "Are you ready for Madden?" And then it breaks out into like this rap hip hop music video, and it's pretty catchy. And it's just silly. The whole thing is silly, and it's meant to be silly. But it kind of goes on the culture thing rather than the game. Like it touches on the cultural connection that game has, because honestly, that game is pretty, stays pretty the same, with each game coming after. So it's like they try to touch base on something else, and I think it worked. I think it was a pretty good. It was funny and it was entertaining. I think it touched a lot of people that like that style game.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. Did you hear about this is gonna like a segue into my good one. Okay, so this one was done by Acclaim. This was done back when. Have you ever played a game called Virtua Tennis 2?
I don't think so.
So back then, when this game came out, there was Virtua Tennis, and there was all the other tennis games. Not to say that the other tennis games were popular, but Virtua Tennis was actually a really popular tennis game. It was really fun.
Virtua Tennis. What system?
It's for the Dreamcast. It might have been for others too, but I remember playing it on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
This was their marketing campaign. It's really goofy. But man, it got a lot of attention for very little money. So Acclaim puts out, and I guess let me back up. Tennis is taken very seriously by a lot of people who love tennis. Mm-hmm. And Wimbledon is the premier tennis experience, right? It's what people who don't even know tennis will recognize the name Wimbledon, right? In England,
in most cases,
Wimbledon is known for having a lot of pigeons fly around it. And that's not something really that bothers anybody, but it's just one thing that people see and they notice, right? Because there's a lot of them.
Pigeons?
Pigeons. Just pigeons flying around, whatever, right? Acclaim, before releasing Virtua Tennis 2, put out a press statement that said, "We are training pigeons to attack the Wimbledon crowd on the day of tennis." What? Something like that. It wasn't those exact words, but it's like that was the sense of it. Like these pigeons would attack the Wimbledon crowd, and they thought that alone would be fun, like kind of fun, and maybe give them a little attention, right? Some time goes by, nothing happens. Another press release comes out. This time from the Wimbledon group. They took it very seriously. They come back and they're like, "We are hiring and teaching hawks to kill all pigeons in the vicinity." And they're totally serious, right? It was, even though Acclaim was totally messing around about it, these guys are totally serious. Like, we're training hawks. So Acclaim is like, how do we take this even further? Like, these guys think we're serious.
What the
So they go on and they're like, not only are we training these pigeons, we're gonna brand every pigeon with our logo.
Oh my god!
And have them fly into the thing and shit all over the crowd.
Oh my god!
The Wimbledon people get freaked out about it and fire back, and it goes back and forth until finally Acclaim says, like, listen, like, we're sorry, we're just messing around with you guys. We're not gonna hire any pigeons.
What the hell? That's funny that Wimbledon wouldn't even take it seriously.
Yeah.
That's funny though that it went that far.
But honestly, that's one of my favorite ones.
Oh my gosh! All right, what was the next thing?
Okay,
My
so
turn?
yeah,
Or-
so I mean, if you want to just like shoot off a couple more that you liked, so maybe some funny ones or whatever, and we can, because this PR one, I mean, it is a lot of fun, right? Like, game companies, I think, do it better than anybody else as far as like, at least in the old days, right? But back when they had more freedom, I think, to operate before they were so corporatized.
Yeah. Bethesda did one with Skyrim when they were going to release their game on November 11th, 2011. So 11/11/11. And they gave an offer to anybody who named their child Dovahkiin that was born on the day of the release of the game would get unlimited supply of current and all future games of Bethesda.
You know who else did that?
Who else?
The same people that did this pigeon thing.
Oh.
They did it before them, and they said, because they published a game called Turok. Remember that?
I love Turok.
They said whoever named their son Turok on release of Turok would basically
I
get, like,
remember
a bunch
that.
of cash. Yeah.
I remember that.
That's probably where the Bethesda got it from.
Wow, yeah. But it's I think it was funny, and a couple did it. So I mean, kudos to them. Yeah, a couple did it.
Crazy.
So
Dovahkiin.
Dovahkiin. Well, they probably changed it later.
You know who else would love that name? I bet like it's a unique enough name to where like Kanye West would name his kid that, just for the fun of it, right?
Dovahkiin West.
Dovahkiin Northwest.
Oh my god.
My god. Okay, so another one. Speaking of Acclaim, it's another one. Did you hear about their? They called it it's their. I don't remember the name, but it's their Graveyard Initiative.
Mm-mm.
So they were coming out with a game that was called Shadow Man 2. And they basically said that anybody who lets them advertise on the tombstone of their recently deceased loved one, they will help cover the payment for the funeral.
What?
So they would put an ad on their tombstone.
The hell?
Another one. So
and this is for a game.
This is for a game called Shadow Man 2. Another one by Acclaim, same company again.
How do they think they're gonna actually get customers that way? The only people talking about it. The only people going to a cemetery, I don't think, are people that play.
No, it wasn't about that. It was about news organizations picking this up and reporting about it because how funny it was. And so everybody's talking about their games. One example they brought up was one of their games released alongside the Grand Theft Auto 3. And they're like, and it sold almost as well. Even though they had no marketing budget.
Wow.
Yeah, and so another one
That's
they had.
Genius.
Listen to this. You remember a game called Burnout? Have you seen this PR campaign?
Probably not the PR, but maybe.
So Burnout 2, when it was coming out, they said that the day of release of Burnout, which is a racing game where you drive like crazy, they would pay the speeding tickets of anybody who spent that day.
What?
How crazy is that?
Oh my god. I wonder if they had to pay up for it.
They didn't. They canceled the campaign the day before. They just wanted to get the free press. Because it's really cheap to put out a press report. It costs nothing, right?
That's crazy.
And it was so good.
Yeah, that's funny. Huh. Did you hear about the one when they did for the Watch Dogs? Where Ubisoft sent like this mysterious package.
I did in a safe. In a safe. And it was ticking
to an MSN news affiliate,
which is not a video game company or video game reporter.
But they wanted like they open it up and there's like check your voicemail, but they didn't have a voicemail or something like that, and the thing started to beep, so they freaked out. They called the police, but apparently all that was inside was just Watch Dogs like. Merchandise. And
they sent it to a company, to a news organization that doesn't cover video games.
I couldn't believe, what the fuck,
What were they thinking?
Oh my god, that was ridiculous too.
What about the body parts one? Body parts in England?
Oh, was that for Resident Evil?
I think so, yeah.
I remember something vaguely about it.
You had to find body parts.
No.
They covered the. So there was two. There's one in England where they had a body part store. I think that was Resident Evil. There's another one that was by. Man, I don't remember what the company was.
I think there was one where they formed raw meat into the shape of bodies.
Yeah, that's the. And they had it in a store, right? Where you could buy it and eat it. That was Resident Evil.
Oh,
Then another one, and I don't remember what game it was for, but they basically hid human body parts. It looked human, but they covered them in actual meat all over the city.
Oh.
And whoever found the most would get free stuff. Here's the thing, though. They didn't get it all back. So a bunch of those body parts were still some were laying around, and because they had real meat on them, they were becoming diseased.
Oh, what the
how disgusting is that?
That's gross.
Man, I wish I remember that game that was for.
You know, we mentioned Homefront earlier, and I think they did a campaign where they had all these balloons.
Yeah.
And the balloons escaped and just like littered the whole area.
They didn't escape. They sent them free.
Oh, did they send them free on purpose?
They sent them free in San Francisco, which is one of the most protected natural habitats because it's so sensitive to outside influences.
Yeah.
And they sent him free. The oil came down, just polluted the shit out of everything.
Oh my god. Yeah, you see him in like the water, and it was ridiculous, dude.
But as far as cleanup goes,
I thought it was a mistake.
Dude, I got one that's even better.
As
far as cleanup goes, Mafia Wars.
Mafia
you know
Wars.
What they did?
No.
In order to prepare for Mafia Wars, they took $25,000 worth of fake money for fake bills and spread them all over San Francisco again.
Oh, they like taped them down.
And they glued them.
They taped them down to the street or glued them
down to the street.
Yeah. I remember.
They were fined a huge amount after that for it. That's fucking crazy.
That was the same publisher, was it not? That did Homefront, the Homefront PR and the Mafia Wars. Is that the same?
Well, Mafia Wars is a iPhone game. Like
okay, never mind.
I don't think so.
Never mind. Yeah.
But okay, so let me get. Do you have a worst one that you think is the absolute worst?
No, I think the absolute worst was that one that we covered.
So the one I have actually killed a person.
Oh my god! Really?
So and I bet you've heard of this. I bet you everyone's heard of this.
Okay.
Hold your pee for we.
Hold your pee for we. No.
So it wasn't. To be fair, it wasn't a game company because game companies are obviously much more responsible than this. But it was a radio station that had a contest. Whoever can drink the most water and hold their pee the longest would get a free Nintendo Wii. This was back in like 2008 or whenever Nintendo Wii came out. A woman tried to win it for her kids.
Yeah.
She ended up dying from water intoxication because she drank too much water, much more than the safe amount.
Oh, so like her ratio of blood to water in her system just became too low, or like the water too high?
I'm not a scientist, so I don't know.
Well, I thought you'd have more information on this story because it's so interesting.
But I know she died.
That's weird.
I know she died. Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah. I know, you can die from drinking too much water too fast because you will drown from it in a sense. Like it'll come back into your lungs or something like that.
Is that what it is? I have no idea.
But maybe she died some different kind of way. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I'm not a scientist either.
Yeah. I know.
There you go.
I know. You're a gamer. Just like me. Something you and I have in common. Okay. So, enough about awesome, horrible, and funny PR campaigns. Let us talk about something much more serious. Finishing the game. Or as Master Chief would call it, finishing the fight.
Finishing the fight.
But really, it's about finishing the game.
Yeah.
That was another great campaign. PR campaign. Finish the fight.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Halo, I would say, okay, so on the record, I'm going to go on the record right now. On the record, as a general rule, Halo has the best marketing campaigns time and time again. Mm-hmm. So it was Finish the Fight with Halo 3. That was Halo 3. Mm-hmm. I think Halo 2 had this whole montage built in real life, this giant battlefield which they videotaped from every angle of every possible, like, of these soldiers fighting the Covenant. Yeah, which is very emotional. Halo Reach had the battle for Reach, right, where you fight for Reach, and it shows all the Spartans trying to fight their way through to the end, and each one Spartan dying one at a time in a live action sequence. Damn. Halo 4 had an actual also live campaign where it was a little like episodic a show. Halo 5 had the Hunt for the Truth, which you mentioned. Also had a live show with Locke, which wasn't very good, but still it was, it's still like much bigger than any games do before, right, or previous to it, or a sense. I think Halo does it better than anybody else as far as PR goes. And Halo 2 is, I think, still recognized as the most hyped game of all time.
Which game is it when at the very end when you beat it and Master Chief is gonna like enter into the cryo state or something, and he's like, "Call me when you need me" or something like that. Was that Halo 2 and then leading into Halo 3?
Man,
I just know it's
no,
like
that was Halo 3.
It was
that
like
was
one
Halo
of his
3.
infamous lines.
Yeah, that was Halo 3. Because Halo 4 starts with their ship being attacked and Cortana waking him up.
Yeah.
And she's like, Chief, I need you, or something like that. In more ways than one.
Just kidding. Oh, God.
Anyway, moving on.
I remember when we played through that whole Master Chief collection, dude, and I hope my wife doesn't hear this, but I kind of had a crush on her through that whole...
Cortana?
Yeah, dude.
I think everybody does, even though you can't do anything, right? Because she's not even a real person. She's an
God,
AI.
dude.
She's an AI in a game. It's as fake as you can be.
Yeah.
But
she's just beautiful.
Well, it's not even that. It's because of her personality, right? Like, her whole purpose...
No, her curves, too. Her curves.
Yeah, but there's a lot more to it, right?
Yeah,
her only purpose in life is to guide you through the objectives, right?
To serve you.
Yes, to serve you, right? Who wouldn't want somebody that guides them through life, right? Whether you're looking for a new job, if you're going through school, if you're trying to find a date, if somebody could be there to guide you through and get you through the finish line, how helpful that, how much would you appreciate that person? And that's what Cortana is. She embodies everything that we need in another human being to help us through. And that's what Cortana does for Master Chief.
Yeah.
Every game, except for number 5. And maybe that's why people don't like it as much. Maybe that's why people are confused about the stories, because all of a sudden this one element that has been the one consistent in every single game that has been there for you is now gone. And not only gone, but she has turned on you.
Wait, wasn't she missing in one of the games, though? Don't you not have Cortana?
In 5. She was missing in the last one only.
Oh, I thought it was...
Because in part 4...
she was going mad.
Part 4 she was going mad. Rampant. I think they call it rampancy. And at the end, she sacrificed herself to save your life as Master Chief. And then you think she's dead until you find out in part 5, she's gone, as you put it earlier, rogue.
Yeah. Full mad.
Full in British accent. Yeah. I don't know what the hell that was, but yeah, full mad. Anyway, back to finishing the fight. So, the challenge was this. Figure out how many people actually finished the game. And if... a single player campaign, right? And maybe you can explain this better than I can, because this is your challenge. So why don't you take it over?
And actually, after I kind of thought of this topic and I thought over and over.
Did you change it? Did you change it after you told me what it was?
No, I realized that it's what kind of like with our first topic. It's almost an impossible question to answer.
What was the question?
What is it about a game that makes you finish it to the very end?
I answered it, and I answered it so well, Victor.
Do you finish games or not most of the time, or
Victor?
Or so I think it's.
If you think it's impossible to answer, it's because you're lazy.
No.
No, but I answered it. This is you ready for this? It's gonna blow your mind.
Okay, we'll go with it.
So I dedicated a lot of time to thinking about this. I thought about this subject more than any of the other subject we were supposed to talk about.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm glad I sparked your brain.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you. Anyway, moving on. Enough of this bromance. So here's what I kind of broke it down to. I've thought about what makes a great game. I thought about what makes people want to commit and continue to finishing the game. And I was able to break it down to 3 separate subjects. And it's what I like to call Roman's 3 S's. Coined. TM. R-ball, whatever.
What?
R-ball, register mark. The R in a circle.
R-ball. Trademark and register.
We call it R-ball in the biz. In the podcast biz.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Anyway, so
R-ball.
there are 3 separate aspects of a game that make it really good. And if a game has all 3, I would consider that a phenomenal game.
Probably the perfect game.
Exactly.
And there's not many.
There are not many. But here's my thing, is that if a game has just 2 of those 3, 9 times out of 10, a player will play it through to the end.
Mm-hmm.
If it starts to lose one of those 3, that's when a player loses interest. And a game could start off having all 3, and it could start off having 2, and it'll keep the player engaged for long enough. But some games, they start losing some of them, and it boils down to just 1. And once you get below 2 of the 3, you'll no longer want to continue. The three aspects a game has to have is this: story, spectacle, and synergy. And
Wow.
here's exactly.
Wow.
Mind
Did you
blown.
coin these terms too?
I did. Art ball, trademark, whatever.
Art ball.
TM. Which TM trademark. Anyway, copyright. There we go. So here's how I break it down. The story is broken into 2 parts.
Okay.
One part of it is game. So like, it's what the game developers wanted you to see in the sense of Call of Duty. That the storyline that the actual game developers wrote in each line by line what you experience.
Right.
The other part of it is the story you build yourself. So for instance, and here's kind of a unique example. Forza Motorsport, it's not open world, it's just track-based game, right? It doesn't have any kind of story. The only story that's present but it's built in by the developers is that you got to finish in top 3 places in each race. That's it. There's nothing else to it. But when I play Forza 7, I inherently build my own story. That story is that I am a character, and not unlike James Hunt in the 1980s Grand Prix. And I want to be the best there is. I am naturally gifted. I'm not someone who practices, but I need to be the best in the world, at least for this one season.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but that's kind of the storyline I give to this game. And there's a lot of games like that, the really great games. Like Skyrim is a really good example of this, where I identified with the Dark Brotherhood, even though I've never killed anybody in real life. I identify.
Wink, wink.
John, is that where John really is?
Fuck.
Anyway, but that's who I identified with more than anybody else is that Dark Brotherhood, and that's the story I built for myself. Even outside of their story, is that I was this person looking for a position of power that is maybe invisible power, right? It's not necessarily right there for anybody to see or anybody to recognize, but it's power I know I wield in the background. And it happens a lot with me with games where I build my own story, which is just as important as a story that the game developer writes. So that's the first thing, the first S, the story. The second one I would say is the spectacle. And the spectacle is broken down into 2 parts as well. Gameplay, where is it fun playing every second of it? Like for instance, The Division or Halo.
I think a game that had good spectacle was Quantum Break.
Yeah. That's the other part of it, because is the fun factor, the hook.
The game mechanics added that spectacle to it.
Metal Gear Solid is another example where you feel like there's just so much little things you can do. That's the spectacle.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid may not have the story aspect down, but it had the spectacle for sure. And the third one is synergy. And synergy is, again, broken down into 2 things as well. One is your connection to the game world. Like, as far as how you feel you connected, how much you want to come back to it because you feel like it's an actual place. And the other part of synergy is that the synergy you feel with another player in real life. So, for instance, Ghost Recon. I know I wouldn't be playing the game as much as I have been if I wasn't playing it with you. And I bet you wouldn't be either.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the same thing with with Halo or Battlefield or any other game.
Yeah.
Is a synergy you feel with the other player that makes you come back. So the 3 are story, spectacle, and synergy. And if a game has at least 2 of those 3, I bet you that you would finish it.
Yeah. A game that I think had a lot of synergy for me was The Last of Us. Because I was able to really connect with Joel and like the story and the story of it.
Yeah, so that had synergy and story.
Yeah.
It didn't have much spectacle because the gameplay wasn't really there, right? The gameplay was obviously
the spectacle wasn't grand.
But story and synergy. And that's how you finished it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
and it kept me, like you say, the synergy kept me wanting to come back to continue it because I wanted to see what was going to happen.
Absolutely, and that's what I think. I think a game has to have 2 of those 3 for a player to continue.
No, that's actually a good breakdown.
Well, duh, I'm smart.
Topic done. No, I'm fine.
But anyway, and like I think I would say Witcher is the perfect game for us at least.
There's not very many perfect games, and Witcher 3 is the one rarity.
Because the story, it had its own really interesting story, but you built your own story in that world.
Yeah.
Spectacle.
Yeah, you built your own story by decision.
Yeah, and the gameplay was super fun, right?
Oh,
Every sword fight, every monster you had to fight differently.
The spectacle was everywhere. The spectacle was the combat, the environment, the explosions, the magic effects. Right. I mean, the spectacle was everywhere.
And the synergy to the world, and we had with each other, like we always talked about it.
Yeah.
Remember, like, as soon as we both beat the game, we're like, "What was your ending? What was your ending?"
Dude, I was talking to a friend earlier today about it, and we were talking about...
Excuse me? You have other friends?
An acquaintance. Sorry. I was speaking to an acquaintance earlier about Witcher 3, and we were talking about how ours were so different and how our friends were so different, and I couldn't even remember what mine was because I had so many other friends telling me what theirs were. I was like, how did mine end again?
Yeah, I couldn't remember mine was either, but at this point anyway. But yeah, like there are very rare games that do such a good job of everything. But if a game has at least two, again, like Halo or Battlefield. Battlefield's a good example of this. The storyline, what was the storyline?
Battlefield?
Yeah, Battlefield 4. What was the storyline? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
My sentiments exactly. But spectacle, totally there as far as multiplayer goes. Yeah. Synergy, as far as multiplayer goes. We play that game, I mean, well over 100 hours, for sure.
Oh, dude. Probably, yeah.
So, moving kind of a little further into this, let me ask you this. And hopefully you haven't seen this fact yet. But I'm going to give you 3 games. And you have to guess from highest to lowest, the percentage of players that finished the single player. This is only single player.
Okay.
So, from highest to lowest, what do you think the single player success rate that totally finished the game was? Here are the 3 games.
Okay.
GTA 5, Call of Duty 4, Rainbow Six Vegas.
So which one got finished the most at the top?
Yeah, which one got so first start with which one finished the most at the top, and which one was the least finished single player? Rainbow Six Vegas, Call of Duty 4, GTA 5.
Well, I would say Call of Duty 4 is at the bottom. It got finished
the least single player.
And Vegas second to the bottom, and then Grand Theft Auto 5 at the top.
The most finished single player.
The most finished.
So here's the thing. The number 1 finished single player game,
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty 4.
God damn it.
And you know how many people finished it? 75% of players that started Call of Duty 4 single player finish it.
Because it's so fucking short. Of course they're gonna finish it. It's
number 2?
It's like 4 or 5 hours. it's like an hour and a half.
But you guessed wrong. So why'd you guess something else?
I don't know. Because I thought that game was addicted to like young teenage boys that just didn't finish it.
You don't understand video games. That's why. You just don't understand video games.
Oh my god. I guess I know. Whatever.
I'm just kidding. Okay, part 2. The second most finished game in this list anyway.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, okay.
But you know how many people finished it? Only 25%.
What?
A quarter of people who started single player finished Grand Theft Auto 5.
So that means nobody fucking hardly finished Rainbow Six.
22%.
Wow.
So here's the numbers. And this is just 5 games I grabbed. Call of Duty 4 is number 1 with 75%. Halo 3, 70%.
Oh, I'd figured that'd be higher.
How much do you think Fable? How many people have started the Fable series, the Fable game? How many do you think finish?
I don't know, 60, 65?
55. So you're close. Yeah, 55%. Then GTA 5 with 25%, and Rainbow Six Vegas with 22%.
Do you have Witcher 3 on there?
No.
Damn.
I think these were older games. I just found this thing. Yeah.
Huh.
And here's something that's interesting. 90% of players who start a game don't finish it. 90%. That means only 10% actually finish most games.
Yeah, because I would have to say I finish like 30 to 40% of the games I play. So I would consider myself a lazy gamer, like you call me.
Dude,
which is sad because I want to finish
every game.
I want to finish games, but it's like I just become so disconnected because there's something I don't like about it.
Yeah.
Or it's just it's like worn out its welcome. I'm like, this game is too fucking long for what it is.
Metal Gear Solid.
One other game is Alien Isolation. I don't know if you've ever played it.
Yeah, I never played it, but I heard it was way too long.
That game is really good, but it's really long for its concept. Basically you're just trying to avoid the alien and these robotic dummies that have gone mad. So and it's just they're like androids, and it's just too long for that style of gameplay. Like I'm 10, 11 hours in. God damn it, Roman.
I'm just kidding.
I checked and double checked, but still. But
you paused. You paused.
I did pause because I was like panic. I'm like, what? Wait. Anyway, but yeah, that game was too long. If it was shorter, I would have finished it. But it's too long. It was good. It's good.
That's what I heard.
It's very atmospheric and
the graphics look really cool too.
The graphics are nice and it's like very sci-fi. If you like sci-fi, you'll like. Well, it's like dark sci-fi almost because it's a horror game. So,
dude, have you seen how good the new Wolfenstein looks?
Yes.
Oh my god!
It looks so good
amazing.
that I want to like play it,
yeah.
and I can just imagine what it's gonna look like on the fucking Scorpio.
Oh my god, dude! 4K.
I can just imagine.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of Scorpio, I was gonna talk about an experience I had. I'm gonna skip all that because I don't think anyone's interested in actually what I had. But I did a quick. I did a grab of all the games that are coming out for both the Scorpio and the PS4 Pro.
Oh god!
And so here's some interesting comparison. It's really quick. Call of Duty World War II, the new one. The Scorpio and the Pro both have 4K, but the Scorpio also does HDR.
High dynamic range,
which is just like prettier colors. It's not. I mean,
yeah,
it's
like
orange,
deeper
right?
tones and stuff or something.
Yeah, like brighter lights, whatever.
Yeah.
Destiny 2, Scorpio does 4K HDR. The PlayStation Pro does HDR, but the 4K is dynamic. So, which probably means when you're actually in a fight, it'll scale down. When you're watching like a cutscene or like in a Crucible or whatever they call it, you'll probably scale up, right?
Yeah.
Fallout 4. This is an interesting one. Fallout 4, an old game. Scorpio 4K, PlayStation 4, half of that resolution at 30 frames.
Wow.
That's kind of a big one, right?
30 frames?
At 30
well,
frames.
I'd like to know what the 4K, what the frame rate is at the 4K.
Probably 30 frames too.
Probably 30?
But still like half the resolution.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider was another really good one.
Oh.
On the Scorpio, it's 4K and HDR. On PlayStation Pro,
That's the PlayStation Pro, bro.
Dude, that's the black edition.
Dude, that's fucked up, dude. That's
Why?
fucked up.
People love black pros, right?
Yeah.
PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
So on the PlayStation Pro, it's yo dog.
Colin Kaepernick has one.
The PlayStation 4
Faux Pro.
with my
Pro
toothbrush.
It's the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Doing this. Okay. And anyway, the PlayStation 4 Pro is 4K as well, but checkerboard, so it's not true 4K.
So it's upscaled.
So, yeah, it's upscaled. And I had just, I guess
Oh, dude, no. Ubisoft. Wait, the Ubisoft CEO or somebody high up in Ubisoft was recently talking about already anticipating the next consoles, the next PlayStation
in
5.
2 years.
In
2 years.
Which is fucking ridiculous that Microsoft would even make this number of consoles in such a short period of time.
In 2 years.
They're fucking ripping you guys off, dude.
You know what's
got
happening?
ripped off. Dude.
You know what's happening? It's the Apple effect. That's exactly what's happening. They saw that Apple can release a new iPhone every single year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Make money.
And people buy it up. And Microsoft, I watched the interview where they talked about specifically that. How the iPhone keeps coming out every year and people keep buying it. And that's what inspired them to do this console thing.
Yeah. Because their big thing about that is compatibility.
Yeah.
As long as it's compatible, they think there's a market for it.
And I mean,
I think they used Apple as an example of the market.
Yeah, and I mean, they're doing a really good job as far as compatibility goes because they're going all the way back to Xbox One and bringing those things on.
You think that's why they're doing so much backwards compatibility because they're trying to appease the players as much as they can while trying to throw in these iterations of their console?
I think they're trying to build comfort.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're saying, hey, you could buy now, you could wait till later. Whatever you do, our games will continue to work. Yeah. And you'll never be charged extra as long as you own them. You just have to buy them once, and that's it.
And if you do buy them, they're cheap, maybe?
Yeah. And I mean, it's nice, right? Because you get to, if you spend more, you get a nicer console with better graphics. Right? Like, especially coming out of the 360 and PlayStation 3 era, where the consoles lasted for 10 freaking years. I mean, we were all, I think, dying for a new console by that period, right? So it's kind of refreshing. At the same time, I understand why you may be upset because you don't want to have to feel like you have to buy a new console, right? And you don't, because they'll still work. Yeah. But at the same time, it's nice to have the option.
So what if they came out with a new iteration of the Xbox every, let's say, 2 years? Would you buy it?
Every 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to imagine what would be next beyond 4K, right? But what if
they already have 8K TVs?
That's what I hear, like 5K and 8K or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I just think it's bad for them to make it as expensive as it is. $500.
That's why they have the S though, right?
Yeah.
Because the S is like half the price.
Yeah.
And it still plays 4K videos. It just doesn't do the graphics. The 4K. Oh, so one thing I wanted to mention too. I know that, at least myself personally, I've heard again and again and again and again and again from Microsoft that even if you're playing at 1080p, the Scorpio or the Xbox One X will make your graphic games look better. And this whole time, I thought it was bullshit. Right? I just didn't believe it.
Wait, it'll make them look better even if they don't have a patch or any kind of upscale? Or
It'll somehow
it'll just enhance the visual
somehow,
effect of it somehow.
And it sounds like total bullshit.
Yeah, no, I would imagine so.
Really?
I would imagine so.
I played Witcher 3, 1080p. Instantly, I recognize the difference.
Really?
And I don't know. Here's the thing. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's not any one thing, but overall, like the game just looked better right away.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's a placebo effect.
Maybe. I mean, you might be on something. Maybe it is. Maybe because I expected it to look better than it does.
Yeah.
But it actually looks better. Like everything about it, the game feels more like every character, every building just feels more solid. It's weird.
I can relate because I had a similar experience when I was playing my consoles on a 1080p TV, and then I got the 4K TV and connected my consoles to it. Now my consoles don't push out 4K; it's just the PlayStation 4 base model and the Xbox One. But when I started playing on the 4K TV, it definitely looked cleaner and better. I don't know why. Maybe just a denser pixel.
The TV. I know the TVs. They also have their own internal graphics engine. Isn't that crazy? Like TVs have their own graphic engine that help improve quality of the video.
Well, the TV that I have, there's different input styles, and one of them is video game. And when I switch to it, it corrects the color a little bit. In most cases, makes the picture look better.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so maybe
that's why.
Anyway, well, that was another entertaining episode of PAXP. Oh, this is episode 5, by the way. Since
if anybody lasted this long,
if anybody's keeping track, it's episode 5. But thank you for joining us.
And if you see John, please let us know. Yeah. Just have him come back.
We got to look into this story, man.
Yeah, and if you can, maybe hop on Morrowind with us.
Yeah, and if you're in Arlington, and
please
just come across anybody that looks like they look like they're lost, just ask if their name is John.
If they look like a John, it's probably him.